Hello everyone, my name is Paolo Lotti and I work as a water and sanitation engineer for MSF Holland. Between June 2019 and August 2020, I was working as a water manager in Bangladesh. I was responsible for the design and construction of water supply and distribution networks in Cox's Bazar. This is the largest refugee camp in the world. It's home to over 1 million people. The aquifer system of the region is the only source of water for both the refugee and the host communities, and there are significant uncertainties on how this aquifer system will respond in the medium to long term. Currently, there are more than 30 deep boreholes and hundreds of hand pumps collecting water from the system. And the monitoring of the aquifer withdrawal is essential, and the currently monitoring system relies on data that are manually collected by trained operator, and this requires significant financial, human, and logistical resources that is very difficult to sustain for longer terms. In order to improve the monitoring system, we have proposed an approach which is based on the IoT. So IoT stands for Internet of Things and describes the network of physical objects, also known as things, that are embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies for the purpose of connecting and exchanging data with other devices and systems over the Internet. In practice, that translates into a series of sensors that monitor essential parameters of the aquifer and water extraction and distribution systems in order to produce real-time data that can be then used to make data-driven and informed decisions. In this way, it will be possible to implement a more secured and regular monitoring system and to provide immediate response in case of need. The system proposed consists of 4 layers. The bottom layer, or the thing layer, which is basically the device or the sensor collecting the physical parameters. The network layer is the gateway of or communication protocol. The data manager layer is the server where all data are stored and made available to the application layer, which is the top layer, where the visualization and data analysis take place. The network layer chosen relies on the LoRaWAN technology. LoRaWAN stands for long range, low power, and it's a radio communication protocol specifically suited for IoT solutions, especially in remote areas. Some of the pros of this technology include the long range, which under certain conditions can go up to over 50 kilometers. The low power, which translates to the fact that basically the sensors can be battery powered and can last even years on a single battery. The protocol itself is based on radio frequencies that fall within the ISM, industrial, scientific, and medical frequencies. And that means that there are no licenses or fees associated to the use of these radio frequencies. So between April and May 2020, MSF conducted a very quick pilot test as a proof of concept for the proposed technology. Here you can see the 4 different layers associated with the pilot test. So the bottom layer, the thin layer, for this one, we used a pressure sensor, a pressure and temperature sensor to monitor the water level and temperatures in one of the tanks installed within a network run by MSF. As a communication layer, we use a gateway mounted on a single board Linux computer. The solution is very flexible and reliable, but is only good for testing and is not really recommended for scale-up installation, but provides a reliable bridge between the communication, the radio communication and the internet. The server layer used is based on the Things Network, or TTN. This is an open source community that allows to build IoT applications at low cost. And also the application was built on an open source web-based programming tool called Node-RED. And basically consists on a dashboard that is all hosted on the gateways, on the gateway itself, and is accessible via a web interface. So the device, the pressure sensor, is installed in one of the Oxfam tank and is set to monitor the water level and temperature every 15 minutes. The gateway is installed on the rooftop of the MSF guest house in IKEA. And the distance between the two is approximately 3 kilometers. And this is kind of a worst case scenario, whereas you have the difference in height between the gateway and the device is only about 5 meters. Nonetheless, we were able to get consistent data communication with no packet losses. This is a screenshot of the minimal dashboard that we built. And you have gauges and graphs for real-time visualization of data. And then you also have the possibility to download a file with historical data for future analysis. So the dashboard was also, it's basically based on a web page, and it was made accessible through the network, through the internet. The data collected over a 2-week period were used to study the consumption pattern in the network. From the analysis, something very interesting came out. So it looks like there is a consumption of water overnight, but these raised an alarm since the network are usually closed during the curfew hours, which is between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. So what we found out is that the gate valve installed on the outlet of the tank, and which is basically used to shut down the network during the curfew times, was damaged and was worn out and was basically leaking water into the system, whereas people were forgetting to close the taps and thus allowing for the water waste. As you can see, the difference in the level within the tank is only about like 10 centimeters, but that translates into almost 3,000 liters lost during the night. And this leak was not detectable otherwise because water was not visible outside the tank. So based on the satisfactory results obtained with the pilot test, it is therefore decided to scale up the system. In the meantime, also UNHCR have planned to implement a monitoring management system applying the same technology. They have recently completed the installation of 4 LoRaWAN gateways to cover the whole region from north to south, from Kutupalong to Teknaf, and are in the process of installing LoRaWAN equipped sensors to monitor water quantity and groundwater levels on all partners' network. Also, UNHCR gateways are connecting to the open source TTN network, and therefore they're free to use for any device which is in the range of the network. MSF is planning to install multi-sensors remote terminal units to retrofit the existing sensors that are already installed in some of our network to make use of the LoRaWAN communication protocol. And these sensors include groundwater levels, inline pressure flow rates, and tank levels. The idea is basically to replace the existing data management system with an automated solutions. What you see here is an example of the data analysis that is currently performed and include production, consumption analysis, and long-term groundwater fluctuations. These analyses are based on the readings that are collected every day by trained operators, and on the measurements that are collected via the data loggers, but they are downloaded only on a monthly basis. So the purpose is that by automating these tasks, it will be possible to create the same graphs and to perform the same analysis in real time. And this will be a game changer, and will give more time to the engineers to perform more advanced statistical analysis and prediction. The use of LoRaWAN technologies will enable to scale up monitoring of wash activities and would make MSF decision-making process more data-driven. It will improve the overall efficiency of the operations by delivering real-time data, which allow to trigger immediate interventions and to follow up the results of said interventions. These technologies can be used to retrofit existing equipment, and its use is not only limited to the wash sector, but can be applied to other departments as well, like logistics, security, and health facilities management. Thank you very much.